Shabbat Shalom, family. Our selection today, Fix Me, Yah.
Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Please fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Fix me for my long white road. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Fix me for my sorry crown. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me. Fix me, Yahshua, fix me. Oh, yeah, fix me.
The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. It is wonderful to see some of your faces back again, and I know some of y'all had to get it together because I know a lot of y'all don't like to wear face masks, you know. So most of us don't have to wear one all week. But if it's anything that we should be able to make a change for, it should be our Elohim. All right. So, you know, when we have those list of things that we won't do for Yahweh, believe you me, that is exactly what Lucifer gonna come and test you at. Them very things that you believe you have those limitations in. But it is wonderful to see, you know, our people, you know, coming back in and everything. You know, I'm accustomed to having to wear a face mask, man. It's certain things. If you did certain jobs, just going in the attic, a lot of people who were doing that before a lot of them people got cancer. We don't even think about, man, it's asbestos in the insulation that's in your attic. So people who worked in the attic a lot, you know, heating and air guys, some of those dudes came down with cancer and couldn't figure out why. So, and some people have issues. Our brother sent me a really informative video that some of those face masks have other things in them that you're breathing. Man, we used to have a doggone bandana, bro. Simple as that. It ain't nothing but cloth. If cloth gonna bother you, then what you got on clothes, don't you? So now you're gonna walk naked because you don't like, you know what, I don't like the way that feel on that fabric on my skin. So I just walk out free as a bird. Right. That ain't gonna work. You know, this is what we pray for. Okay. You know, so praise y'all for that, and you know, and more people. Some of them you know, are making sure and giving some time to make sure that they're, you know, okay. And praise Yahweh. In a couple more weeks, a few more of us will be, you know, coming in. You know, the song this morning was wonderful, and it also brought about a wonderful question. Do you trust Yahweh to fix you? See, it's one thing to sing about it. It's one thing to talk about it. Fix me. But what are you going to do when he starts doing that? Because what happens when you begin to fix something, it really begins to look a mess. You ever, anybody who does any kind of work, whether it's construction or mechanical work, you know one thing: you don't ever want the woman to come in before you finish that job. Where's my tire over there? Ma'am, it's the brakes. I gotta take the tire off. Oh, he done tore up my car. Ma'am, I'm fixing the car. Would you go back in the lobby? Go back in the lobby. Mess around, let a woman come in and you in the middle of kitchen fixing her kitchen. Did you just tear out my cabinets? Ma'am, didn't you just buy a new cabinet? Ma'am, I gotta tear out these cabinets to put in the new cabinet. Oh, no, you didn't. You just tore up my cabinet. What? Ma'am, I'm fixing your cabinets. So the real $1 million question is, can you handle the period where the progress is happening? He's not just gonna fix you from Monday to Tuesday. It might be 27 Tuesdays before he fix you. Now, can you handle the situation that happens in between the other 26 Tuesdays? Or do you give up in the process? Do you start having low self-esteem in the process because you ain't fixed yet? That's something that we have to truly consider. And you start to understand why the Apostle Saul would say, you know, I'm going to boast about the things concerning my infirmities. Why would anybody boast about the issues that they had? Because it's the issues that build you up and make you stronger. See, it's the weaklings, the ones that talk about, you know, maintaining and persevering. Soon as something happened, you realize that they can't do it. It's the things of your infirmities that actually make you stronger. You know, I'm you know, a little happier today. I got a little bit of pep in my step, a little bit more. Because some of y'all know that for 2 years, I had been trying to get a work from home job, and every time I was blocked. I started that job Monday. For 2 years. Now, the process though, first of all, you got to understand that this is from a job that I didn't want. I asked Yahweh about me being completely independent. Next thing I know, people calling my house. I ain't filled out now application. I ain't tried to get no job. They call my house. Hey, would you consider coming working for us? How y'all get this number? Who gave y'all this number? Why are y'all calling me? Do you trust Yahweh to fix you? Because it may not come the way that you think it's going to come. Then, you know, even with all of the stuff of me going to the hospital and having to deal with all those things, come to figure out, I had filled out applications for this job, this next one, and each time it was strange. 7 months they wouldn't even answer whether or not they filled the position. And I said, man, that sounds strange. 7 months? We still looking. Now these the managers. What I realized, your current manager have to allow you to go to the next department. See, this is a thing that you don't consider when you name yourself. You know, I changed my name, Esaac ben Israel. Everybody at the job just called me Israel. Here we go. Here's where it get interesting. Israel went to marry one sister for 7 years, got tricked and had to stay there for 20 years Okay, he realized he did not want to let Israel go because blessings was coming through that. Come to figure out they was blocking me. They said, look, he know what he doing in this department, so we don't want him to go to another department. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Had I not got sick, they would have never let me go. If I had not gotten sick, I was going to have to stay where I was. Because the bottom line is, they said, no, if you leave, it mess up our numbers. Mm-hmm. They're not really concerned about you. They're concerned about, their numbers, because that's how everything goes now. It's a numbers game. So, here it is. I pray for one thing, and then something else happened. Do you trust Yahweh to fix you? It began to dawn on me a little by little as I kept getting closer to this situation. I said, I think that this is the only way it was going to happen, because they weren't going to let me go any other way. And Yahweh knew what he had to go up against. So when you ask Yahweh something, you pray for something, you might get that pause. All right, you sure you want me to do this? All right, you absolutely sure you want me to do this? This is what you want, right? Are you sure this is what you want? All right, now just step to the side and shut up. I got the rest of this. Now, you might not understand nothing else that happens following your supplication, because you don't know his ways. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are higher than ours. His thoughts are higher than ours. It may look like to you have been knocked down, and he's actually doing that to bring you up. It has now been 7 months since I have worked. We have not lost one meal. We have not lost one stitch of clothing. There were times in my family was like, we should take some time off and go on vacation. I was like, we can't afford to go on vacation. Move, woman. All right, so I feel super stupid. Okay, I feel super stupid because I worked in 7 months. Now, if ain't nothing happened in 7 months, how the hell that vacation time was gonna kill me? Stop bothering me, woman. Right. Sometimes everybody need a little stupid hat in their house. Every now and then you need to go and put the stupid hat on. Just go ahead, put that on. I'm gonna wear this for the day. Sit in the corner. You know what I'm saying? Yep, and I'm gonna sit right over here in this corner. Don't nobody say nothing to me. I mean, hey, and not only that, man, Yahweh still been, blessing us through the whole situation. And you got other folks doing all kind of wickedness so they can get a stay-at-home job. That's why you got people that want to be Hebrew Kardashians, and they want to get, these views. They lie about the views so they can get, advertising money. They do anything. They do anything for a view. When you take care of Yahweh's business, he takes care of your business. But let's begin today's sermon in Genesis chapter 38. Today's sermon is entitled, In the Way of Whoredom. Because a lot of times we try to find another way to get the things that we want instead of waiting on Yahweh to provide those things for us. And as it is written, take you care of the things concerning the kingdom, and I will take care of the things concerning you. Do you believe it though? See, we got to do the next step of allowing Yahweh to fix you. If you're going to allow Yahweh to fix you, what you first got to do is stay out of his way. There's a reason why that sign is on the mechanic shop. It is $75 an hour, but it's $95 an hour if you help. I don't think that black boat go there. Go back in the lobby. You looking for your wrench and they done took it and moved it. Look, I got my wrenches here for a reason now. I took this off with this one. I took that off with that one. Who moving my wrench? Go sit in the lobby I will call you when your vehicle is ready. Don't come back in no more, because the price about to go up. See, when you see that extra $200 surcharge, that's because you helped me. Here go extra $200 because you helped. What? Yeah, your helping made my job harder, because you don't know what you're doing. And same thing we do with Yahweh.
Yahweh, you sure you want to do that?
Somebody get this fool out of here. I'm trying to do what you asked me to do. You ain't gonna understand my ways. Your brain too small. You're not gonna understand how Yahweh is doing what he doing. Stop trying to figure that out. Genesis chapter 38. Let's start that at verse 1.
And it came to pass at that time that Yehudah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira. And Yehudah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. And she conceived and bare him a son, and he called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. And Yehudah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Yehudah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of Yah, and Yah slew him.
All right, he was wicked and Yah slew him. A lot of times what we do is try to find, especially when it's our kid, we want to find excuses of why certain things have happened other than just deal with the fact that you got a wicked kid. All right, this one right here just ain't right. Go ahead.
And Yehudah said unto Onan, go in unto your brother's wife and marry her, and raise up seed to your brother.
Right. So this is customary practice before law. Understand something. This is a part of our law that, you know, the living brother then goes unto the brother's wife after he has passed away to raise up seed in the name of his brother. This is here before law tells us. So Yahweh had already had certain things of law, but it was culture. And that's where we have a problem. This is culture before it is law. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch two things. The reason Onan's going in is because didn't have any children. And then the next thing is that even though he's sending Onan to go marry her, doesn't mean that Onan ain't already got his own family.
Right. See, it didn't say, well, you know, if you already got a family, then you don't have to do this. No. I ain't care nothing about it. If you got a family, that's your wife now, because your brother died. And if you understand that, it makes you pay attention more in your family when your brother get ready to marry. Wait a minute, man, you sure you want to marry her? Why? Because if you die, then I got to marry her. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No. No, don't marry her. Don't marry her. I didn't look, no. Get a girl 3 houses down. What about that one right there? She look nice. She look nice, man. Go ahead and marry her. Because, oh boy, I'm going to be making sure don't nothing happen to you if you marry her.
Verse 9. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother.
Right. And it was a wicked action because he was there to raise up seed. Okay. So then instead of allowing the woman to procreate and have this child, he did what he wanted to do. And then the part that she needed, he wasted that. And Yahweh didn't like it. Go ahead.
And the thing which he did displeased Yah. Wherefore he slew him also. Then said Yehudah to Tamar his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at your father's house till Shelah my son be grown.
This is a lot to ask a woman. Okay? Now he first of all is not considering from the top of this in verse 2, and Yehudah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite. Why you went and married Canaanite women? See, that's the first thing that you see And then when bad results coming from it, instead of dealing with his decision, he's going to put that on her.
My kids keep down. She like the Black Widow or something. You know, they go in unto her and they die.
You married a Canaanite and brought forth Canaanite blood, but he's not considering any of that. Go ahead.
For he said, Least peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Yehuda's wife, died. And Yehuda was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath, he and his friend Hira the Adullamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, your father-in-law goes up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. For she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife.
So she has waited for quite some time. She is not just gone in day number 2 and took matters into her own hand. Okay? She has waited for the man to grow up, this young boy. So now he has grown up. Remember now, she still got a clock that's ticking. See, men don't have no ticking clock. That we can be 102 and do everything wrong and still bring forth a child. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at it, she did what he said. She's at her father's house. And she's carrying herself, because it says she's wearing her widow's garment.
Exactly. She has done everything she was asked to do. Go ahead.
When Yehuda saw her, he thought her to be an harlot.
Now, he thought her to be a harlot. Read the next part.
Because she had covered her face.
Right. And see, I made statements before and people thought I was just saying some stuff. No. Whores cover their face. So if your face is covered, and we ain't talking about no face mask because of this pandemic. Okay? Let's not get it twisted. If there's something other than you breathing and you covering your face, then you are a whore. That's our culture. Remember now, we're talking about culture. Law hadn't got into this yet. Okay? So, when he saw her and her face was covered, he automatically, he finna go and find out what's the price. You got a price list? Go ahead.
And he turned on to her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray you, let me come in on to you. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What will you give me, that you may come in on to me? And this is the negotiation.
Right, this is the negotiation. This is negotiation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This negotiation. All right, so what you got? See, because it would have stuck out
if she just said, yeah, you can come in for free. Wait a minute.
I'm saying, right? So she got to make it real. All right, so let's go ahead and negotiate this price. But she don't want none of that. Go ahead.
And he said, I'll send you a kid from the flock. And she said, Well, you give me a pledge till you send it. And he said,
Because first thing you learn on the street, you know what I'm saying, even exchange. All right, come on, same time. You know, I can't, you know what I'm saying, trust your word on it, you know. Go ahead.
And he said, What pledge shall I give you? And she said, Your signet and your bracelets and your staff that is in your hand. And he gave it her and came in unto her, and she conceived by him.
Now, the one thing about this, your signet, all right, this signifies you. Everybody know that's yours. Your bracelet and your staff. This is something that he has with him all the time. So what she is doing is getting evidence. Because everybody gonna know that's your stuff. Go ahead.
You know, you keep saying that no law has been given, because we know later on in the law says a father and a son shall not go into the same woman.
Right. But look at how he's dealing with this, and now she's going on her own to deal with this situation. Go ahead.
Verse 19. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Yehuda sent the kid by the hand of his friend the Adullamite to receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot, that was openly by the wayside. And they said, there was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Yehuda and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Yehuda said, let her take it to her, lest we be ashamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and you have not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after.
Because now she's showing. All right. All right, let's go ahead and put it out there. 3 months, now she's starting to show. Go ahead.
That it was told Yehuda, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot.
Yeah, she played the harlot, but not exactly how you think she played the harlot. She played the harlot all right. All right? But she played the harlot in a different way. See, when they are saying she played the harlot, they're saying, you know what, she done went out and, you know what I'm saying, found some man, and they done did some things, man. She done came out and played the harlot. How dare she? Now, she done waited for this boy to grow up. Understand now? She was supposed to be at son number 3. Go ahead.
And also, behold, she's with child by whoredom.
And she is. But the whoredom is interesting. Go ahead.
And Yehuda said, bring her forth and let her be burnt.
You see how we are? When it doesn't require us to have to do anything. Now he know that he didn't give her this child. So he didn't deal with her righteously. But as soon as the appearance of her doing something, set her on fire. Not let's stone her. Let her be burnt. What? Go ahead.
But you know what's interesting though? Why haven't you give your son to her? Because you trying to protect him.
Exactly.
But no protection for her. Let's
right.
burn her
No protection for her. But you have made her wait. Because bottom line, he's scared to lose the third son. Never mind. First one was wicked. Second one did something wicked. Now she at number 3. That ain't got nothing to do with her. That all has something to do with them. Go ahead.
When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, I pray you, whose are these? The signet, and the bracelets, and staff. And Yehuda acknowledged them and said, she has been more righteous than I.
Right, but you see, she had to pull up evidence. You see how you have to do, folks? She got to pull up evidence to show that she's righteous. Because automatically she was a whore. Automatically she's a harlot. Automatically she's all this and that. Until she...
Anybody seen something look like this?
That's who gave it to me. My baby daddy.
This belonged to my baby dad. Judah, ain't that yours? Yeah.
You know, I've been looking for that thing. Sure you have. Go ahead.
Because that I gave her not to Sheila, my son.
Now he know exactly what the issue was. Now, he already knew the issue before she showed that bracelet. He didn't just all of a sudden my memory has come back to me. Right. This is how you have to do us. Now, had she not had the evidence, what would everybody have thought?
Oh, she'd be burning.
Oh yeah, she'd be on.
Smell that? It smells like flesh.
What would have happened? They would have believed that she was this certain type of woman, all because she didn't have the evidence to prove. Go ahead.
And he knew her again no more. And it came to
Now, here's the part of the law. All right? That was what you was talking about before. Now that he knows, would the rest of us done that?
No. We like, well, wait a minute, I don't already been there. I mean, you know, once I park in the garage, I got a monthly parking pass. You know what I'm saying? I just show my pass. Look here, I belong here. No. Once you know, then you have to deal with that accordingly from this point on. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the time of her travail that, behold, twins were in her womb.
Right. Now see, that's also a part of the blessing. Now, she done had to go through two
wicked sons.
Right, two wicked sons. What does Yahweh do? Turn around and give her 2 kids at the same time. Do you trust him to fix you? Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out. And she said, How have you broken forth? This breach be upon you. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward came out his brother, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah.
All right. So then when we deal with this, we have the first part of this, how he believed that she was a harlot was because she covered her face. All right. So then you have in dealing with all of this, even the things that she lost, where it had been from, this son to this son, then Yahweh gives her 2 men children at the same time. That's one of the things about trusting Yahweh, because she had waited long enough to know that he wasn't going to come to her in righteousness. All right. She, a lot of times we wait 15 minutes. No, she waited enough for a child to grow up into a man. That is quite some time. So she did her due diligence when it comes down to that. Let's go to Exodus chapter 34. Exodus chapter 34, and let's read verses 23 through 35.
Even when you look at that situation and then you look at Naomi and Ruth, remember Naomi told Ruth, ain't no more kids in me. Mm-hmm. So you look at that and say, well, what's the difference? Nah, there was still a son over there. Mm-hmm. So Naomi then did the best thing else is, here's the next kinsman.
Right.
Had he not had Sheila, then he could have made that offer of the next kinsman. Mm-hmm. Verse 23. 3 times in the year shall all your men children appear before the Adonai Yah, the Elohim of Israel. For I will cast out the nations before you and enlarge your borders. Neither shall any man desire your land when you shall go up to appear before Yahweh your Elohim 3 times in the year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of Passover be left unto the morning. Mm-hmm. The first of the first fruits of your land you shall bring unto the house of Yahweh your El. You shall not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Write you these words, for after the tenor of these words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel.
All right. So then, he's receiving these things of Yahweh. And, I've said things several times to try to get people to understand. It really is something to be said about the company you keep. Because what happens is there's a bit of your essence going unto them and a bit of their essence coming unto you. So if you're dealing in a certain circle, you have to be very mindful of what's happening to you inside of that circle. Now, he is spending time with Yahweh. Because he is spending time with Yahweh, he is being changed, unbeknownst to him. See, Yahweh's light so bright, he don't realize that he's getting brighter. Okay? He doesn't realize that there's a change in him. The same thing that happened when you hang out with Pookie and Man Man them. You don't recognize that you're changing, but you starting to act just like Pookie and just like Man Man. So he doesn't know that he has changed until he goes around some people who have not changed. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And he was there with Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. And it came to pass, when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moshe knew not that his skin of his face shone while he talked with them.
He knew not. So Yahweh's light is so bright, he doesn't know that he is being changed just by being in the presence of Yahweh. So, I tried to explain people, all right, you keep letting your kid hang out with these individuals, I'm telling you, your kid gonna change. They don't want to listen. All right. They end up taking on the spirit of them individuals they was hanging around. Go ahead.
And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him.
Right. So at this point, now he's finding out that he got to shine. Because now he's going around people who have not shared the essence of Yahweh. See, that's what happened when you change the people that you hang around, and then you go back around one of them other people who you used to be around. They're afraid of you. They don't just come out and say that they're afraid of you. They just feel,
why you dressing like that? You don't want to go to the club no more? What you doing?
They're afraid. Because now it is apparent that your light is different than it was the last time you was around them. Go ahead.
And Moshe called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moshe talked with them. And afterward all the children of Israel came near, and he gave them in commandment all that Yahweh had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And till Moshe had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face.
All right, so he covered his face. So when we start looking at reasons for a man to cover his face, we're going to have to ask the first question. Have you been in the presence of Yahweh? Is your face glowing? All right, we can mark that off the list. Keep reading.
But when Moshe went in before Yahweh to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with them.
All right, let's go to our 2 Samuel chapter 19. Second Samuel chapter 19, and let's read verses 1 through 7.
And it was told Joab, behold, the king weeps and mourns for Absalom.
Right, he has lost his son, and in this process, Joab has to tell him, the way in which you are mourning for your son is really a real kick in the face to all these other people who have, died and lost their children in the process, to do all of these things. But it's like all you care about right now is your child, and this is the selfishness that we can all get caught up on, that we don't really care what happens to other individuals, just what happens to our kid. Okay, so right now the king gets caught up in woe is me about how he's feeling at this point. But a lot of people have suffered through this. Okay, go ahead.
And the victory that day was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard say that day how the king was grieved for his son.
He grieved for his son. Go ahead.
And the people get them by stealth that day into the city, as people being ashamed steal away when they flee in battle. But the king covered his face, and the king cried with a loud voice, O my son Absalom, O Absalom, my son, my son. And Joab came into the house to the king and said, You have shamed this day the faces of all your servants, which this day have saved your life, and the lives of your sons and your daughters, and the lives of your wives, and the lives of your concubines, in that you loveth your enemies and hateth your friends. For you have declared this day that you regardeth neither princes nor servants. For this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived, and all we had died this day, then it had pleased you well.
Right. Sometimes you have to look at what you're presenting, and it may not look the way that you intend for it to look. See, he's just caught up in his moment. He's not really paying attention to how other people are perceiving that. Go ahead.
Now therefore arise, go forth, and speak comfortably unto your servants. For I swear by Yahweh, if you go not forth, there will not tarry one with you this night, and that will be worse unto you than all the evil that befell you from your youth until now.
All right. So then if we go back to verse 4, the king is mourning for his son, and verse 4 says, but the king covered his face, and the king cried with a loud voice about his son. So reason number 2 that you would cover your face. Did your son die? All right. So now we can mark that off the list. Now let's go to 1 Kings chapter 22. We only got one more reason. 1 Kings 22, and let's read verses 41 through 46.
Verse 41. And Jehoshaphat the son of Esaac began to reign over Yehudah in the 4th year of Ahab, king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilahai. And he walked in all the ways of Asa his father. He turned not aside from it, doing that which was right in the eyes of Yahweh. Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away, for the people offered and burnt incense yet in the high places. And Jehoshaphat made peace with the king of Israel. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat and his might that he showed and how he warred, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Yehudah? And the remnant of the Sodomites, which remained in the days of his father Asa, he took out of the land. So then now what we have to do is get a definition for sodomite. Read the definition for sodomite. Quadash, from H6942. A quasi-sacred person, that is, technically a male devotee by prostitution. Oh, wait a minute. It's by prostitution. So we're talking about a man whore. Okay, go ahead. A licentious idolatry. To licentious idolatry, sodomite, unclean. Okay, so then now we already see that the whores covered their face. All right, go to the next definition. Sodomite, from Brown Drivers Briggs. Quadesh, BDB definition, male temple prostitute. Male temple prostitute. See, when you deal with a prostitute sells to anybody that buys, whether that buyer be male or female. So you understand what the face covering was about. It's because they're a whore. See, that's not our culture. Read the definition on the next thing. I'm sorry, you had something, bro? You know, I just want to say, in all these definitions for sodomite, we see male. Because we have become a culture of people who want to throw women into being sodomite. Yes. And not only that, when you start to look at some of these things, we just have that one area that we want to deal with sodomite on one side, but then the nations will have stuff that they call sodomy. There's no such act in the Bible called sodomy. Sodom was the place in which these things went down. Okay? So then the individuals that partake in those things were called sodomites. They then have laws where they call something sodomy, and it could be 20 different things that ain't now one of those things listed in this book. So then you have married people being told how and what they can do. Don't kiss right there. Don't you do that, because you're going to be committing sodomy. Who the hell told you that? Huh? You don't tell me where I can kiss that mine. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine on? The marriage bed is undefiled. I kiss that wherever I want to kiss that. Who the hell are you talking to? Read, man. That was at verse 46. Go to the next definition. Next graphic. Next thing I got here is Deuteronomy 23. Yep, we should be on graphic number 9. Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 17. And it's going to go to the very thing that you just said. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel,
All right.
nor a sodomite of the sons
There you
of
go.
Israel.
So you have one for the females, and then you have one for the males. Okay? We like to, push all those together. Go ahead.
You shall not bring the hire of a whore or the price of a dog into the house of Yahweh your Elohim for any vow, for even both these are abomination unto Yahweh your El.
All right. So now let's go to Genesis 19. So now we've covered all of the reasons for a Hebrew man to cover his face. All right. Either you are glowing, you are crying, or you're a whore. Now you check whichever one of those boxes fit you. Right. Be honest with yourself. All right. Ain't no need of lying to me, because I'm gonna know if you're not glowing. I'm gonna see that ain't no light there. All right. And hell, I know you ain't got no kids, so the only thing left, if it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, then damn it, it's a duck. All right. Come on. Genesis 19, and let's read verses 1 through 11.
And there came two angels to Sodom at even.
But you know what's crazy? When you hang around people who don't know no better, then they boost you up. Oh man, whoever taught you well. No, somebody didn't teach you well. Because if you had been around people and had actually asked some questions, they would have told you, I wouldn't do that if I was you. But see, that's what happened when you have the blind leading the blind, they both in the ditch. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, bro.
Genesis chapter 19 and verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my masters, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, No, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into you this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
Right. And if y'all are not understanding biblically when it says to know, okay, yeah. So the young men that we got in here, men with men is an abomination unto Yahweh. Understand what he's saying. All right. Understand that we may know them. So they wanted to go see this kind of stuff we see on TV. They'll just show, a man kissing a man, and there's no issue with showing that on television. Yahweh says it's an abomination, and this kind of stuff get you killed. All right, go ahead.
We're starting to see this more and more, because there was just recently this basketball player who proposed to this cheerleader man of the same team. That's what he's talking about. Yeah. Ain't no man proposing to no man. Ain't no man becoming another man's wife or girlfriend or none of that. It's an abomination.
If I propose to you, brother, I'm proposing to cut your grass for a certain price. That's the only kind of proposition you getting from over here. That's what I'm saying to you. How much for the grass, brother? Go ahead.
Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have two daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do you to them as it is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof.
Now I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I'm not giving them my daughters. I'm killing everybody. I'm killing it's gonna be dead gay blades everywhere. I'm not getting you my girls. So I'm telling you now, I got some growing to do. Cause this right here, I ain't sending my daughters out that door. They beat on my door. I tell you what, look here, baby, this how many bullets we got. All right, I need one of y'all to go in that window. One of y'all to go in that window. All right, post up. Look, we're gonna kill as many as we can. All right? You know what I'm saying? Live free, die well. Come on, babies. All right? All right, we're going out in a blaze of glory up in here. All right? You got to be willing to die for something. Go ahead, bro.
And, you know, even in that verse touches on what you were talking about earlier when you're going to say, hey, what I can do with my wife. What did he say? These are my daughters. Do unto them
as you please. I give you the right to do that because they belong to me. Mm-hmm. Well, I say the same thing. They belong to me, and I'm killing you. I am killing everything. If you got bugs, I'm gonna kill them too. Go ahead, bro.
And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge.
Oh, they didn't like that. No, you gonna tell us what to do? You think you better than us? Go ahead.
Now will we deal worse with you than with them?
Mm-hmm.
And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door.
All right. So now let's go to 2 Kings chapter 23. And that was an awesome point, brother. I'm glad you said that. 2 Kings 23. And that was Yahshua's statement, by the way. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? 2 Kings 23, verse 1 through 7. You see, that's the difference with a whoremonger. Whoremonger want to do everything with things that he don't own. See, that's where the line is drawn. See, the whoremonger want to do all the things that married people do, but without being married. See, they don't want to buy the cow. They don't even want to rent it. They just want to steal the cow for an hour. Go ahead, bro.
2 Kings chapter 23 and verse 1. And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Yehuda and of Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of Yahweh, and all the men of Yehuda and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of Yah. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before Yahweh, to walk after Yahweh and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. And the king commanded Hilkiah the high priest and the priest of the second order and the keepers of the door to bring forth out of the temple of Yahweh all the vessels that were made for Baal and for the grove and for all the host of heaven. And he turned them and he burnt them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them onto Bethel.
Right. You have to understand, this goes both ways. When wicked stuff is brought into the temple, it must be taken out if somebody is going to have righteous rule. On the flip side, when righteous things belong to a body or a congregation and it is taken out, then that person has cursed themselves by taking things that belong to Yahweh. But they believe that they're in sport. So this happens on both sides. Go ahead.
And he put down the idolatrous priests, whom the kings of Yehuda had ordained to burn incense in the high places in the cities of Yehuda, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them also that burnt incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. And he brought out the grove from the house of Yahweh, without Jerusalem, onto the brook Kidron, and burnt it at the brook Kidron, and stamped it small to powder, and cast the powder thereof upon the graves of the children of the people. And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of Yahweh, where the women wove hangings for the grove.
Right. So then they tore down the houses of the Sodomites. And if we have any situation, you even say something wrong, people are losing their jobs because, you know, they say something
and they say, you know what, you're not being inclusive of everybody.
Now, let me tell you something. They're about to have a rude awakening because Yahshua is not inclusive. Let's go to Genesis chapter 9. I mean, this is the reason Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. This was his thing of going to destroy it. And when people get off into this whole thing about it, understand something. They want to do away with law. Here's your problem. There is no law when he's dealing with these people for the wickedness that happened at that point. So how you going to connect that to law? This is culture before there was law. You going to tell Yahweh his culture wrong? That's what we do. Oh, I don't like this part of the culture. I don't like that part of the culture. Don't tell me. Tell Yahweh. Say it with your chest. Genesis chapter 9, and let's start that at verse 1.
And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every fowl of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. And surely your blood of your lives will I require, at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. Whoso shed man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And you, be you fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And Elohim spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of a flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And Elohim said, This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between Elohim and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And Elohim said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth.
All right, so then the bow in the cloud is the token of the covenant. Go to the next graphic and read that definition, brother.
You know, brother, it's funny that we look at the bow, but he said this is so I will remember.
You know, sometimes you have to, remind yourself, because somebody going to do something so stupid. That you have to remind yourself, I told myself I was going to not knock the fire at you. So I'm going to put this up here, let it be a reminder to me not to knock the fire at you, because you're going to do something else stupid, and then I'm going to get angry, and I'm going to be ready to swing, and you better, remember, look. Oh, yeah, I did promise I wasn't going to knock. Go ahead.
The bow, H7198. Kesheth, from H7185, in the original sense of H6983, of bending, a bow, for shooting, hence figuratively strength, or the iris, arch or archer, arrow, bow, bowman, shot.
Now, that iris part gonna get interesting. We're gonna come back to that. Let's go to our Revelation chapter 4. Revelation chapter 4, and let's read verses 1 through 4.
After this I looked, and behold, a door was open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, Come up hither, and I will show you things which must be hereafter.
Right. And if it was a trumpet, what kind of trumpet you think it was? See, if it wasn't the one of all silver, then it's going to be a ram horn. Understand that? Go ahead.
And immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne.
And I heard Absalom was talking about me because I couldn't blow that shofar last week. Hey, bro, I want to see you in my office after class. I just fly. Go ahead, bro.
And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald.
There was a rainbow round about the throne. Now, I don't want y'all to think that if you see a throne with a rainbow around it, that he is welcoming you to a gay party and you go up there and get yourself killed. Because he's sitting in power, understand? And you go up there twitching. Go ahead.
And round about the throne were 24 seats, and upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold.
All right. Now let's go back. And the reason I ended up splitting that up, because you find more situations in dealing with this iris, dealing with the Greek term of rainbow. Read that.
G2463, iris, perhaps from G2046, as a symbol of the female messenger of the pagan deities.
See, now we're starting to get interested in why you start seeing this rainbow. It's a bit of a difference in how our ancestors defined it and how they define it. Now you understand how we're starting to get to this point. Read the stuff under the next graphic.
Rainbow. A rainbow is an optical and meteorological phenomenon that is caused by both reflection and refraction of light in water droplets in Earth's atmosphere.
Yona just got real excited right now. Yeah, he loves anything with clouds. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Resulting in a spectrum of light appearing in the sky. It takes the form of a multicolored arc. Rainbows caused by sunlight always appear in the section of sky directly opposite the sun.
Next graphic.
The rainbow has been a favorite component of art and religion throughout history. In Greco-Roman mythology, the rainbow was considered to be a path made by a messenger iris between earth and heaven. In Chinese mythology, the rainbow was a slit in the sky sealed by goddess Nua using stones of 5 different colors.
Next graphic.
In New Age and Hindu philosophy, the 7 colors of the rainbow represent the 7 chakras.
And you know, that's when, when you deal with, some of our people, they think they really in deep, something, you got to get in tune with the chakras. Man, get up out of here. Go ahead.
From the first chakra, red, to the 7th chakra, violet. The rainbow has been adopted as a symbol of gay pride in the West. In Wicca, the rainbow symbolizes hope, the close interconnections between sky and earth, spiritually and physicality, and the principles of connection, correlation, and unity.
Next graphic.
In Norse mythology, a rainbow called the Bifrost Bridge connects the realms of Asgard and Midgard, homes of the gods and humans. Bifrost was magically constructed from fire, water, and air.
So all what we have, it's a sign of the covenant, but understand what everybody else is dealing with, so that when you see this, you start to understand how they connect this, because they got a lot of different connections going on here. Go ahead.
Whose quivering and changing hues it has retained. Of all the gods, only Thor, god of thunder, never passes over the bridge for fear it might be demolished by his heavy tread and lightning bolts. Scholars have proposed that the bridge may have originally represented the Milky Way. According to the Pros Edda, the Rainbow Bridge ends in Asgard and is the residence of the god Heimdall, who guards it from intruders.
Next graphic.
Heimdall, the god who guarded the Rainbow Bridge, taught the runes to mankind. The runes were carved into the end of the rainbow. In this way, he passed the runes on to men so that they, too, could learn the secrets of nature. During Ragnarok, the giants breached Heimdall's defenses and crossed the bridge to storm Asgard and slay the gods. At the end of the cosmos, it is said that Bifrost will collapse and shatter beneath the weight of the monsters.
And I know a lot of y'all into all these Marvel movies and all of that. All of this is right here. All right? All of this. Go to the next graphic.
The Bifrost plays a minor role on the 2011 film Thor. In the film, the Bifrost allows the Asgardians to travel to Midgard and to the other realms. This version of the Bifrost is more technological in nature, and instead of being a rainbow, those who travel using the Bifrost are transported at light speed throughout a wormhole like vortex.
Next graphic.
Case points out that the Hebrew word for Sagittarius is keshet, meaning the bow, which connects it to the bow of promise, a rainbow. So this bow of promise then becomes a bridge, presumably between heaven and earth, the divine and the human. Just as likely, the rainbow serves as a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, the known and unknown. After all, what do bridges do? Whether across chasms, rivers, or mythological levels, they connect separated things, lands, realms, objects, or people.
All right, so then when we see all of these things, it has a much deeper connection to these other individuals when you see them dealing with that. All right. See, we don't go into all of those things when we see other things. You know, they are deep into all of these things, so that when you see some of these symbols, that you begin to realize that it has way more to do with some deeper underlining things than you can imagine. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3. Jeremiah chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 18.
Verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But you have played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, says Yahweh.
Right. So then all of that strange worship that we partook in to Yahweh was us committing spiritual adultery. When we decided we were going to go to the Christmas party, when we went to the Easter egg hunt, all right, when we decided we was going to go to watch night service and worship the two-headed god Janus that looks in the past and the future, we were committing spiritual adultery. We were fornicating. So he likens the natural fornication on our level to the spiritual fornication of what we commit against him.
And people will say, you know, what's wrong with you? I mean, now all of a sudden you reading the Bible, you don't love your mother? But your God don't like Mother's Day?
When did one day become a day for mothers? Are you just a mother on that day? The day you became a mother was the day I was born. So we should be celebrating Mother's Day? Because your Mother's Day was my birthday. Read, bro.
Lift up your eyes onto the high places and see where you have not been lain with. In the ways have you sat for them, as the Arabian in the wilderness, and you have polluted the land with your whoredoms and with your wickedness. Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there has been no latter rain.
So then these things are happening so that it will coerce Israel to walk away from the things that they're doing. See, but what happened is we hang around individuals that make us feel like the things that we're doing is okay. That's why we go against anybody who speak against what we're doing. Because we want to feel comfortable, and hanging around in a circle of individuals who commit all of the same things, then they help you feel positive about your negativity. Mm-hmm. Until the day, of course, you see Yahshua. Go ahead.
And you have had a whore's forehead, you refuse to be ashamed.
And we know a whore's forehead is covered. A whore covers her face. I'm sorry, or his face. Because you got women whores and you got man whores. Go ahead.
Will you not from this time cry unto me, my Father, you are the guide of my youth? Will he reserve his anger forever? Will he keep it to the end? Behold, you have spoken and done evil things as you could. Yahweh said also unto me in the days of Uzziah the king, have you seen that which backsliding Israel has done? She's gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there has played the harlot.
Under every green tree. That's that evergreen tree, that Christmas tree. That Christmas tree that they put those gifts under, and you got to get on your knees to go up to that tree to get that gift. Yahweh said, them are whores. I don't advise you to go home and say that to your mama though. That probably won't turn out good. So we're gonna keep this right here. All right. So official statement: do not go home and tell your mama, did you know when you got under that Christmas tree that you was a little green whore? Did you know that? I don't come back and tell when she slap you. Don't send no emails to me. All right? I'm going to block all emails that come when you decide. There's certain things that you get information on. That don't mean you need to take that information and just stroll through the living room. Yeah, I'm about to start something today. Nah, man. Nah. Now take your information and go sit down. All right? Okay? And your folk can be like, I can't stand that sock. I can't stand him. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn you on to me. But she returned not, and her treacherous sister Yehuda saw it. And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Yehuda feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass, through the lightness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Yehuda has not turned on to me with her whole heart, but feignedly, says Yahweh.
Right. Because she had a whore's forehead, because she thought her stuff was being covered, because we do things in the darkness of night, we believe that we are getting away with something. But Yahweh counted. So you have the multiple monogamy of Christianity, and they feel as though they are justified. And you got Hebrews that play that same game. But at some point, we're all going to have to approach unto that altar of truth. And I put mine on the altar. Hey, let's have a real addition here. I can put everything on this altar of everything I've made a covenant with, and since I've been baptized, and the last 30 years, and take the man who claims he ain't got but one wife. I bet my number better than his. Right, man whore. Read, brother.
Verse 11. And Yahweh said unto me, the backsliding Israel has justified herself more than treacherous Yehuda. Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say, Return, you backsliding Israel, says Yahweh, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you. For I am merciful, says Yahweh, and I will not keep anger forever.
I am merciful, but you don't get to keep doing the same things and then keep talking about praise Yah for his mercy. I killed 2 people last week. Praise Yah for his mercy. I slept in 2 bedrooms that didn't belong to me. Praise Yah for his mercy.
That's that Catholic.
What you're doing is mocking my Elohim is what you're doing. What you're doing is blaspheming his holy name. You're going to talk about his mercy while you're doing everything against what he said do. Go ahead.
Only acknowledge your lawlessness.
Which is what we're not going to do. That's why when somebody get caught, you see the back of their kufi or head wrap going out that door. Because they will not take accountability for their actions. Go ahead.
That you have transgressed against Yahweh your El, and have scattered your ways to strangers under every green tree, and you have not obeyed my voice, says Yahweh. Turn, O backsliding children, says Yahweh, for I am married unto you, and I'll take you one of a city and 2 of a family, and I'll bring you to Zion.
In other words, I'm going to deal with the remnant. That's why it is written, they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. See, I ain't bringing all y'all. 2/3 of Israel is going to get cut off and die, and I'm going to bring the third through the fire and refine them as silver is refined. So I ain't bringing all y'all. Because over half, if this says 2/3, that means the majority of us are not going to listen. The majority of us will not be corrected. The majority of us are going to deal with our own doctrine. 2/3. And it's so funny, you hear people saying, and I remember not too long ago hearing, y'all need to be careful, y'all. There's a purging going on. The very ones that said that is the ones that got purged out. That's what you call swallow a camel and strain out a gnat. Go ahead, brother.
And I'll give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Right. But we're going to try to kill them. Because they don't agree with everything that we do. See? That's why the pastors make so much money on Sunday. They make everybody feel good about their dealings. See, that's why Yahweh knew he had to give me a job. Because every time I cut one of you knuckles, they're going to put 1 red cent in the offering. There you go. There go your penny. Yahweh like, get this dude another job because they going to starve him out. Go ahead, bro.
And it shall come to pass, when you be multiplied and increase in the land, in those days, says Yahweh, they shall say no more, the ark of the covenant of Yahweh. Neither shall it come to mind, neither shall they remember it, neither shall they visit it, neither shall that be done anymore.
Neither shall it be done at that time. They won't think about it no more. We want to not think about it now. See, that show you how backwards Israel is. But why would you look for the light if the light is amongst you? Why would you need the temple if the real temple is in your midst? Go ahead.
At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of Yahweh, and all the nations shall be gathered onto it to the name of Yahweh. To Jerusalem, neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil hearts.
So if that hasn't happened, how is it that vain persons can believe that the Ark of the Covenant is something that we should not deal with? These things ain't taking place yet. But see, that's what happened when deceivers hang out with other deceivers. Go ahead.
In those days the house of Yehudah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers.
All right. Did you finish that, brother?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4.
(9:23).
Appreciate that. It's Hosea chapter 4, and we're going to read verses 1 through 19.
Hear the word of Yahweh, you children of Israel. For Yahweh has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, no mercy, nor knowledge of the El in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing.
All these things in the commandments. All right? See, this is how the adversary, the devil, trip up a whole lot of people because they want to try to implement some things, but they doing all these other things to do it. They swearing, lying, killing, and stealing, and committing adultery. Go ahead.
They break out, and blood touches blood.
And blood touches blood. Yet they'll come up talking about, ain't my hands clean? You don't see the blood hanging on your hands. Go ahead.
Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwells therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven. Yes, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for your people are as they that strive with the priests.
Right. And is he not talking about Israel? Your people are as the people who strive with the priests. Because we don't want to hear the right word. We want to hear what makes us feel good about what we already doing. That's why people don't want to come and seek counseling before they do something. They want to tell you afterwards. By the way, man, I did such and such, and this is my new wife. Oh, you telling us that now? Right. You didn't want to talk to nobody before because you didn't want nobody to talk you out of it. Right. And that's some people's approach. You know, they're going to approach this thing in slickness, and Yahweh will not be mocked. He will not be mocked. So if you in the process of lying, Lucifer already got you. And believe you me, a whoremonger is also a established liar. Because they go hand in hand. You can't be no truth-telling hoe. If you're a whore, you're a liar too. Go ahead, brother.
You know, at the end of verse 4, it says, for your people are as they that strive with the priests. That's interesting because it's not until we get knowledge that we're Israelites that this striving becomes common.
Right.
Because before a while we were out in Christianity or whatever else, there's no striving with the preaching.
Nobody jump up while Creflo Dollar was teaching and said anything to him. Eddie Long could put on as many muscle shirts as he wanted, and he could say, watch this. Nobody went up there and said a thing. Soon as we come into the truth, now we full of opinions. No, just enough to get ourselves killed. Go ahead, brother.
Therefore shall you fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with you in the night, and I'll destroy your mother. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge.
You see that? It's not that they were not given knowledge. They rejected it. They took what they wanted to take, you know, and the parts that they didn't like, they rejected it. It wasn't that they didn't have it. They just want to deal with the things that fits their liking at that particular time. So they reject knowledge. And Yahweh gonna reject them. Go ahead.
I will also reject you, that you shall be no priest to me. Seeing you have forgotten the law of your Elohim, I will also forget your children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their lawlessness. And there shall be, like people, like priests, and I'll punish them for their ways and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to Yahweh. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart.
Right, so their heart is gone. And they know it not. Go ahead.
My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declares unto them.
They ask counsel at a piece of wood. They ask counsel of old fools who have no spiritual direction whatsoever. Go ahead.
And their staff declares unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms has caused them to err.
The spirit of whoredoms. So once somebody hangs around with other whores, they then engage in the spirit of whoredom. My elder used to say, you lay down with dogs, you're going to come up with fleas. Go ahead.
And they have gone a-whoring from under their Elohim. They sacrifice upon the tops of mountains and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery.
So then he's going to let that spirit of whoredom come all the way up in your house. And it's sad that some people don't know that they married to the biggest whore in town. Everybody else know it. It's a shame they don't know it. But you know, really, they know it. That's why they just as blue as they car. They know. They know. They try to act like they don't know, but you know. You know good and well when you hanging out with a pigeon-toed, bow-legged, flat-footed, mud-kicking hoe. You know it. Read, bro.
I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom.
I'm not going to punish your daughters when they start to become hoes. See? Because now he done let the spirit of whoredom come up in there. So I ain't going to punish them. I'm going to let them be hoes just like you. See, that's what happens. The whoremonger thinks that they're just like the married wife or the married husband. No, you ain't nothing like them. See, there's legal lust and there's illegal lust. See, if that belongs to you, I can look at that however I want to look. That's mine. When that car drove up, I bought that car. When you see them clothes, I bought them clothes. The whoremonger don't take care of nothing. He just want to take care of some night work. But he ain't paid no bills. He ain't purchased no car. He ain't paid no mortgage. He ain't paid no rent. He just want to show up for happy time. Right. Read, bro.
Nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that does not understand shall fall.
Check this out. They're separated with whores. Right. Start to look at the gatherings and see what you see. The same mindset gathers for a reason. See? You know you in a strange place when we know we in the word and a brother send his woman to the door with a nightgown with no bra, no panties on, and hey, what the hell she doing? Then he come right behind her, just a dangling and swinging. Hey, the hell going on here? Then he gonna put it. I'm not shaking that hand.
Or the other one either.
Yeah, I know where that hand's been. Read, man.
Though you, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not Yehuda offend. And come not you unto Gilgal, neither go you up to Beth Aven, nor swear, Yahweh lives. For Israel slides back as a backsliding heifer. Now Yahweh will feed them as a lamb in a large place.
And you know, our people are in court when they say separated with whores. I don't even know if it still is, but there used to be a radio show that had this thing, the side piece shout out. Which just encourages our people to be flat-footed, mud-kicking hoes. You know, right, I'm going to be your sneaky link. Right, Yahweh going to be your sneaky link. Yeah, when you hear that behind, that's him heating up that fire. Come on, sneaky link. Got something for you. Come on, sneaky link, come on in there. Right, yeah. Go ahead, bro.
Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. Their drink is sour, they have committed whoredom continually. Her rulers with shame do love, give you. The wind has bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices.
All right, brother, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Say, you know, you find these people who knew in the word, They come in the word, find something in the book about a man having more than one wife, and then they want to use Yahweh's word to justify their whoredom. It is why you have sisters looking at this culture in a cross-eyed manner, because you got these man whores who will use Yahweh's word to try and implement what it is they want to do. And nobody benefits out of it except them. First Corinthians chapter 7, and let's read verses 1 through 16.
Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband.
And understand what it says in the word. If he take him another wife, her food, clothing, and duty of marriage shall not diminish. You can't take from one to give to the other. But see, the whoremonger uses part of the word to say, yeah, this will be an additional wife. All right, well, what you taking care of at that house? Huh? I mean, I brought some detergent over there. You should have used the detergent to wash your dirty ass.
Not so.
Read, bro.
You know, my brother, at the end of verse 2 here, there's people that use this in their own way as well. And it says, and let every woman have her own husband. See? Just supposed to be one man,
right?
One woman. Yeah. And I stop and say, hold on. In Atlanta alone, it's 21-7, okay? So if every woman supposed to be just with the one man and the one man with the...
It's about 15 unhappy ones for every one. Right. But you know, long as they're happy, they don't care who else is sad. See? That's that selfishness about long as I'm okay, I don't really care about, you know, the rest of everybody else. Go ahead.
The wife has not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband has not power of his own body, but the wife.
No, we want to deal with that one way. All right, you know, especially brothers who trying to implement something. All right, you can't leave. I done had this happen several times. The word said you cannot leave me. Where you going? I'm finna go out here and deal with the girl down the street. Oh, okay. And they use the word to do that, but then flip that on the other side. Man, that ain't gonna work. Y'all ain't not gonna play them games. Go ahead.
Defraud you not one the other.
Defraud you not one the other. Once again, what did the law say? Her duty of marriage shall not diminish. So you stop doing this so you can do that over there. If you ain't got what it takes to take care of both of them, you might want to sit down. And don't get it twisted, them little blue pills kills. Go ahead, bro.
Except it be with consent.
Now that's real talk. Because a lot of them people coming up with skin cancer, you wonder why a brother black at this altar have skin cancer. You ain't never heard of black people catching skin cancer. Where you think they getting it from? From them little blue pills.
They need it.
See? So they got happy with the little blue pill. So now the little blue pill done took them somewhere, and they like, man, I'm like I was 18 again. I can knock down the walls. All right. Until you start getting holes in your skin and start having all them issues, where's that coming from? Right. Coming from them pills you keep taking. Those ain't herbs. Those ain't natural that you taking. Go ahead, bro.
Except it be with consent for a time. Verse 5, defraud you not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that you may give yourselves to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency.
So, in that pause, that you not taking care of your marital duties, Satan is in somebody's ear.
You know, I know, he not coming over here, but I'll tell you, have you seen James? Look at the shoulders on that brother. You see that? He sure look like he can bear sister up. You know what I
Right. And he over there because you ain't. You leave and Satan pulling in. Hey, how you doing? Right. Yeah, I was waiting till he left. Look at him. Go ahead, bro.
But I speak this by permission and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man has his proper gift of Elohim.
Right. And if that ain't your gift, don't try it. See, I heard brothers that make a vow to be a eunuch. Next time you see them, they married with 4 kids. How in the hell do you reconcile that? Go ahead, bro.
One after this manner, and another after that. I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn.
Right. But see, the whoremonger is not going to marry. The whoremonger is going to do the things that married people do without taking care of any of the other things that married people do. Go ahead.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Adonai. Let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. Or be reconciled to her husband.
Now, how is she going to be see, this is where we jump in and out of the word. All right? How the woman going to be reconciled to her husband if you over there hollering at her saying, yeah, your husband, he is an unbeliever. So then that allows me to go in. Hell, she an unbeliever. She ain't even learned the word yet. So now you sleeping with a married woman and believe you in sport? Read, man.
And let not the husband put away his wife. But to the rest speak I, not the Adonai. If any brother has a wife that believes not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. But the woman which has an husband that believes not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy.
Check this out. Else were your children unclean. See? So now that defiled state has caused some other issues. See? Because we won't be a sneaky link. Now your children got foul things on them because of your sneaky link. Go ahead.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but Elohim has called us to peace. For what knoweth you, O wife, whether you shall save your husband? Or how knoweth you, O man, whether you shall save your wife?
Right. And like my brother said earlier, Hebrews 13 and verse 4 says, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, Elohim will judge. Now, we can deal with that however we want to deal with it. But at some point, we all got to go stand before that judgment seat of the Mashiach. And you can think he don't know all of that all you want to. But you're going to have to answer for it. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14, and let's read verses 1 through 12.
Verse 1. At that time Herod the Tetrarch heard of the fame of Yahshua, and said unto his servants, this is Johanan the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him.
Right. Now, he has an issue because he has allowed some things to go down because something was said about his situation, and he ain't like it. And that's what we do. When somebody brings forth the truth of the word, and it brings forth our ill dealings, then we got a problem with that individual. No, the problem you got is with your God. It's just him you see. Go ahead.
For Herod had laid hold on Johanan and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For Johanan said unto him, it is not lawful for you to have her.
And that's it. That's all it takes for Jake to kill you. It's not lawful for you to have her. Why? Because that's somebody else's wife. It's not lawful for you to have her. Is your brother dead? Is your brother unbeliever? Your brother standing right over there. It's not lawful for you to have her. Instead of them repenting, you know what? I'm going to kill him. That's our approach. I'm going to kill him. Go ahead, brother.
And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude, because they counted him as a prophet. But when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herodias danced before them and pleased Herod.
You know, and knowing that they are some, you know, that our people have gotten into some really strange things, you wonder what kind of dance could please you that much.
You are in Atlanta.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, was this Club Watusis? What exactly was happening there? Go ahead, bro.
Whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask.
What kind of dance makes you promise somebody I'll give you whatever you ask? That dance don't sound kosher. That dance don't sound like it was a regular dance. Now understand, this is the daughter. Mm-hmm. See, this is going wrong in every direction possible. How your daughter gonna give me a dance so much that I'll give her whatever she asks? What?
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't say.
Yes, but
It doesn't say if that was his niece, but that was his brother's wife.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's a good thought.
hey man, there's all kind of wrong going on right here. Okay? It's all kind of wrong going on right here. Go ahead, man.
And she, being before instructed of her mother,
Instructed. So this is what happened. You know, I'm mama's daughter. No, I'm daddy's son. She been instructed by the mama.
See, they talking about, you know, what we doing here. So we gonna have to take care of them.
Go ahead.
you know, the interesting thing, it says she, being before instructed of her mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
The statement, shake what your mama gave you, didn't come from men.
Right.
Those mothers used to say that to their daughters.
Right. Hey, bruh, it's mamas that buy them long draws that we call tights and send their daughters in front of them.
Go on down there to that store, baby. Then they look at my little girl's ass. She get just like her mama. Oh, look out. I remember when mine was perfectly curved, just like that.
The mama's about that. Ain't no daddies going around going to the store.
My daughter's behind gonna look wonderful in this.
You ain't never seen a man in the history of, man, come on.
They ready to kill you.
You ain't never seen no man in there buying long draws for his daughter. Women bought those. Go ahead.
And she, being before instructed of her mother, said, give me here Johannan Baptist's head in a charger.
Right, because he said it wasn't lawful. He brought shame to me by bringing forth Yahweh's law. Bring me his head. You make sure you dance good now. You dance. I mean, you better. Yeah, you should move all over your body, shake everywhere. Your eyelids ought to be moving. Cause she had a plan. Go ahead, brother.
That's his wife's daughter, right?
The woman that that's his brother's wife's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who knows him better?
Hey.
She done spend time with him. She know what he like.
Hey. It was he was very pleased in this dance. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now I'm just gonna tell you what's written now. Something don't sound right.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And the king was sorry. Nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her.
Right. Because see, now it's pride because he has let some things come out of his mouth instead of retracting his statement. See, this is how a woman coerces a man into doing some things that he himself don't even want to do. See, you got brothers that believe that they run their house, not knowing that they being manipulated. Yeah, you run it as long as she's standing there looking at you. But as soon as you turn your head, she making all these other decisions. And because a lot of times we lazy and don't want to be involved in all the daily decision making, you the reason why it happens. Because you don't want to stand up like a man and deal with those things, so you rather have her deal with it. So how the house runs is ultimately your fault because you ain't jumped in and stopped nothing. Oh, Yahweh gonna come get you. He not coming to talk to her. Excuse me, Keisha. Man, come here. Let me talk to you. You're not talking to her. Yeah, I knew you did it, but he let you do it. Come here. Let me talk to you. Go ahead.
And he sent and beheaded Johanan in prison. And his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. And his disciples came and took up the body and buried it and went and told Yahshua.
Right. So we're talking, when you understand the truth of this word, you can't be afraid, but you got to understand that it's a possibility that the enemies of Yahweh's word, what does it say? It says the haters of Elohim. Elohim has haters. The haters of Elohim are going to bring their hate toward you when you bring forth the righteousness of this law, and they have a problem with it. But like my elder used to say, you got to die for something. Have something worth dying for. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.